And a very good Monday morning, afternoon, evening, everyone. Joe Benigno back with you again. It's the Older Pain Podcast, Monday, the 20th of October, 2025. Of course, the Older Pain Podcast is brought to you by the Hackensack Brewing Company, by Need a Discount Tire, by Carolina Resort Vacation, and our good friends at Manscaped. I want to start with this after yesterday's latest debacle at MetLife as the Jets lose. Just one of the worst football games I've ever seen. 13-6 to the Carolina Panthers, who somehow have won 3 in a row and are 4-3 on the season. Let's start with this. The downfall of this season began the day that Woody Johnson and Aaron Glenn, in their infinite wisdom, decided to let Aaron Rodgers walk away. Let's be honest about it. That's when this season started going right downhill. No other way to say it. And who are these guys? And think about this too, Jet fans. And nobody talks about this because the media couldn't wait to run him out of town and all of that. Okay? Nobody talks about this. Who the hell is Woody Johnson, who probably is the worst owner in professional sports right now? Okay? It's hard to say he's not. That used to be Jim Dolan, but he's not anymore. Now it's Woody Johnson. And a guy like Aaron Glenn, who had never been a head coach in his entire life, okay? Who the hell are they to tell a future one of the great quarterbacks of all time, who didn't have that bad a year last year? Remember, this guy threw 28 touchdown passes with 11 interceptions last year, but they put it all on him that the team went 5-12. We don't want to talk about the kicking game or the defense or, firing the head coach after 5 games, all of that, okay? Which really all conspired to the kind of season they had last year, which right now, you take it. If you take 5 wins if you're a Jet fan this year. They ain't winning 5 games. They may not win any. But it all started when they let Rodgers go. And you had 2 guys who had no cachet whatsoever. Let's be real about it. Whether it was Woody's call or Glenn's call or the combination of both of them. How did they let this guy go? Do you think the Jets, and I know Rodgers doesn't play defense, do you think the Jets would be 0-7 if they had kept Aaron Rodgers and, dare I say, Davante Adams? Do you think that they would be? They got a quarterback in Justin Fields who finally got benched at halftime yesterday by Glenn. You got a quarterback in Justin Fields who's not an NFL quarterback. I'm sorry about it. He's just not. He stinks. He stinks. And granted, they have no weapons. Garrett Wilson didn't play yesterday. Look at the players we have on offense. Josh Reynolds? What? Tyler Johnson? These are our wide receivers? Really? Even the kid Mason Taylor, he's a nice player, decent. I guess he's an okay tight end. He's no game breaker. He's not breaking any games. So he's strictly a possession receiver. He's not breaking any games open. And the offensive line, let's talk about that too. They stink. I'm tired of hearing about Fassanu, Membo. They're terrible. Tipman, what are they doing? Simpson had a big personal foul in this game yesterday. Really? What are they doing? So they got no players on offense. The defense played better. Defense was okay. They held them to 13 points. The problem with the defense is they never take the ball away. They haven't had an interception all year in 7 games. Sauce Gardner went out of the game with a head injury again. Okay? Didn't play in the fourth quarter. It's unbelievable. Right? No interceptions through 7 games. They forced 1 turnover all freaking year. You got to be kidding me. I'm beyond disgusted. If you're a Jet fan anymore, when your best player is your punter, McNamara, who had a very good game yesterday, or your kicker, Nick Folk, what else can you say? But this all started when they dumped Rodgers. Let's be honest. All started when they dumped him. And I know they lost the other day to Cleveland or to Cincinnati. But Rodgers looked pretty good. Threw 4 freaking touchdown passes. The Steelers are 4-2, probably going to win that division when all is said and done. Probably. That was the beginning of it. To an incompetent owner and a rookie head coach who had never coached a game in his life as a head coach, they decided to make the decision to dump Aaron Rodgers and go with an absolute stiff in Justin Fields. Right there. That was the season right there. Who's kidding who? And here they are at 0-7. Another brutal game yesterday. He finally went to Tyrod, and obviously Tyrod threw two big picks. There were two moments in this game yesterday, and never did I ever think the Jets were winning this game. Right from the opening drive, when they got good field position, you got a good kick return. They move down the field, they come to a 4th and 5, and instead of kicking the field goal, and I really didn't have a problem with it. I mean, you're 0-6, soon to be 0-7. I didn't have a problem with him going for it on 4th and 5, but you got a quarterback that can't make a play. That 4th and 5, I think he missed the wide receiver by about 10. He threw the ball behind him, whatever it was. And they got nothing out of that. And that was it. And it was all downhill after that. But there were two plays in the game that when you look at this game, to me, it comes down to two plays, both of them with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. In the first half, when Fields gets belted with that cheap shot when he got hit basically belted in the chin as he was lying on the ground, right? And they actually called a roughing play on it. I couldn't believe we got a call there. Anyway, I don't know if it was the next play, one of the next couple plays. They worked the flea flicker to perfection. Taylor has a wide open Alan Lazard down the sideline, which should have been an easy touchdown, and he underthrew him badly. Incompletion. Next play, interception in the end zone. That was the first play. The second play, that actually was not the first play. The first play was with Taylor in the game when he threw that completion down to, this is in the first half, so I'm getting it mixed up, so I apologize. The first half, when Fields goes out of the game, he's in the tent. Taylor hits Josh Reynolds down the sideline. Inside the 5-yard line would have been a 1st and goal, and there's an illegal shift penalty on Alan Lazard. Killer penalty in this game. Jets didn't have a lot of penalties. That was a killer in this game yesterday. Jets would have had 1st and goal on the 5-yard line, and it turns into a illegal shift, and they wind up getting nothing out of it. Maybe they got a field goal there. I don't know. Maybe. I don't even know anymore. I lose my mind. And then the second one was in the second half after he made the switch to Taylor, and that flea flicker where he had a wide open Lazard, and he underthrew him, and it was incomplete. And in the next play, he got picked off in the end zone, Taylor. And that was it. Those were the moments in this game when they had a chance. Outside of that, it was nothing. They couldn't run the ball. Breece Hall was a complete non-factor. They actually did throw a couple passes to him, but, big deal. And then they stopped throwing the ball to him. They couldn't run. They can't pass. They got no players on this team. Look at the players on this. We got nobody. We dumped Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams for Justin Fields and who? Josh Reynolds? What? This is what this organization did. And this is another reason they suck. And there was no reason. Rodgers wanted to be here. He's bad-mouthing the team after he beat him with Pittsburgh and all. Well, of course he is. Rodgers wanted to be here. They unceremoniously dump him after he flies across the country, to come in and talk to Glenn and everybody, and they tell him basically get lost without even, basically saying hello. And it's been all downhill from there. And should this be a surprise? Really? They got nobody on this team. Nothing. They have nothing on this football team. They got a couple guys on the defense. That's it. You got Garrett Wilson, who didn't play yesterday. Right? You got Breece Hall, who's basically a non-factor anymore. They're going to wind up trading him. And if I'm Breece Hall, I couldn't wait to get the hell out of here. Let's be real. They got a few guys that are decent on defense. Sauce, who got hurt again yesterday. I'm still waiting for him to make an impact in a game, or maybe he makes a game-changing interception. You think that'll ever happen? You got Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson. There were times in this game on defense where they weren't even in the game. What? I mean, you got to be kidding me. When your two best players are your two kickers, that's a problem. Giants wish they had Nick Folk. They would have won yesterday. But we'll get into them in a little bit. At least you got hope there. You got a young quarterback with the Giants, which the Jets do not have. But the game plan this year, okay, if this was a competent organization, which obviously they're not, the game plan this year would have been come back with Rodgers for another year. You're going to draft a quarterback anyway in the first round next year, and there's going to be a lot of guys there. You don't necessarily have to have a top 3 pick, which the Jets clearly will. And right now they're on their way to the first pick in the draft, right? You didn't necessarily have to have a top 3 pick, right, to still get a young quarterback in the draft next year. And you could have maybe had a competitive season this year. Dare I say that? Instead of this just brutal, one of the worst seasons in the history of the franchise. The third time in history that this team has started 0-7. The other 2 years were under Adam Gase in 2020 when they went 2-14 or 15, however many games they played then, I don't even remember. And in 96 with Kotite when they went 1-15. How many games did they win in? Who are they beating this year? You think they're beating Cincinnati this week? Forget it. Joe Flacco's going to eat them up. Kill them. Who are they beating? The Dolphins, who stink. They got killed by the Browns yesterday. Is Mike McDaniel still the coach there? I mean, how long is that going to be? Miami? Can he beat the Saints in New Orleans, who only have 1 win? I don't know. This is a disgrace. Aaron Glenn is not. Look, I'm not saying they're firing Aaron Glenn after 7 games. But is anybody out there, unless you're just completely delusional or just not a Jet fan who doesn't really pay attention anyway, is there anybody out there that thinks Aaron Glenn is going to be the head coach of this team 2 years from now? Is there anybody? Who is it? He looks so over his head, it's unbelievable. Totally has no idea what he's doing. You got an offensive coordinator who's terrible. The play call. There was one sequence in the game in the second half yesterday. They got a 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2. Okay? How about running the ball twice? Get the first down, run it again, even if you don't get it on 3rd down, we're going for a 4th down, we're running it. No. They're going to throw the ball, and what happens? Taylor got sacked. I guess it was Taylor got sacked. And basically that killed the drive. It might have been Fields in the first half. It doesn't matter. Just terrible play calling. They don't use Breece Hall running out of the backfield, throwing passes to him enough. It's unbelievable. So you got no players at all. You got a roster that's as bad as there is in professional football. You got a quarterback who's not an NFL quarterback. You got a decent guy in Taylor, but he's really a career backup guy. He's much better than Fields, there's no doubt. Even though he threw those 2 picks yesterday. The second one, I thought the defensive back put the ball on the ground. Didn't it look that way? And I don't understand why Glenn didn't challenge that. He had an extra challenge because he had won the first 2 challenges. He challenged 2 plays earlier and won both of them. So he had an extra one. Why didn't he challenge that? Well, how could it have possibly hurt them if he challenged that second interception? The ball looked like it was on the ground. I mean, what are you doing? Are you paying attention? So we got a team that has a horrific owner, has a coaching staff that looks completely lost out there, completely clueless. You have no players. You have a starting quarterback who's not an NFL quarterback, although I got to believe Tyrod's going to be the quarterback going forward. Tyrod Taylor has to be the starter against Cincinnati this week. Has to be. You got a defense that is average at best, that never forces a freaking turnover, ever. 1 turnover in 7 games. They haven't had an interception all year. What chance do they have? What chance? And do you want these guys? Okay, do you want these people? Do you want Aaron Glenn and Darren Moohey and, whoever, I can't even pronounce the name of the offensive coordinator, okay? Because he stinks. It doesn't matter. I mean, I might as well be the offensive coordinator. We'd be better. God knows if I was the owner, we'd be a lot freaking better, but obviously that's not happening. Do you want these guys making the decision on who they're going to draft, what young quarterback they're going to draft next in this coming draft? Because they have to. They have to. I don't see how Aaron Glenn survives after this year. I mean, I got to tell you, they need a real head coach in here. I was talking to Ira in Staten Island last night, and Ira's had it too. I mean, I saw him when I was at the game yesterday. And again, let me thank the great Sean Winters. Thank you, Sean, so much for inviting us. Myself, my wife was at the game yesterday. My son, he's a big Saint fan. He had his Saint gear. He had his Drew Brees jersey on, but whatever. They lost yesterday to the Bears. How about the Bears with this guy Johnson? They're 4-2 now. Of course, they do have a young quarterback in Caleb Williams. I mean, do you want these guys making the decision? on young quarterback next year? Is that what you want? And I was talking to Ira, and Ira's dead on. Go get John Gruden. Come in here and give him the keys to the castle. I'm serious. I know he's been blackballed. He made some racial comment, whatever it was that he said. I forget what he did. They obviously got, they basically ran him out of the league because of that. Whatever. It's time to bring him back. Everybody gets a second chance, don't they? Isn't it time to bring John Gruden back? And if I'm the Jets, I bring Gruden in now. I would bring Gruden. I won't say now. I'll let Glenn finish the year out. He deserves to get the year. He can't fire the coach again like he did last year in the middle of the year. He can't do that. And it doesn't matter now anyway. Where's this team going? They're 0-7. I mean, I let Glenn finish the year out, and then I go get John Gruden. I'm with Ira. Bring him in here. Give him the keys to the castle. Let him run the team. Let him be the GM. I know it's tough to do, but let him be the GM and the head coach, and let's go from there. And at least we got a professional head coach there, right? That won a championship, that knows a little bit about quarterbacks. That's what we need. This franchise is going nowhere. And really, this all started with getting rid of Aaron Rodgers. Let's cut right to the chase. And you tell me I don't want one. You tell me who that Jet fan out there is, and you're delusional if you're telling me otherwise, or you're just lost in the ozone. You tell me what Jet fan out there would not want to rather have Aaron Rodgers as our quarterback this year, and you still would have been able to draft that quarterback next year, no matter what the draft position would have been. There's a lot of guys that are going to be out there. There's a lot of guys, and it's not a matter of one specific guy. You better get the right guy. And do you want Aaron Glenn and Darren Moohey and Woody Johnson? Do you want them making the decision on who this next quarterback's going to be? Do you? Because I sure as hell don't. Let Glenn finish the year. Let Taylor be the starting quarterback the rest of the way. Maybe you win a couple games. Maybe you don't. It doesn't matter if you get the first pick or not, because it's not one specific guy this year, okay? It's not, there's Trevor Lawrence coming out, That's not the case this year. It's not, John Elway isn't sitting there, okay? So it's not one specific guy. There's a bunch of guys, and it's about who is the right guy. And you can't always go by what they're doing in college, to make that guy the right guy. I love this kid, Lenore Sellers at South Carolina. And they got beat again. They got killed by Oklahoma this week. They're not playing well. But that doesn't mean he couldn't be the right guy coming out of school. You just don't know. Right now, the kid Mendoza at Indiana looks like the best guy. But that doesn't mean it's going to translate to that. But the way the Jets are going, they're going to have the first pick in the draft. They're going to have their pick of all the freaking young quarterbacks. And do I want Glenn and Moohey and Woody making that decision? Or do I want a guy like John Gruden making that decision? I'm so disgusted anymore with this organization. They have no idea what they're doing. They have a head coach that has no idea what he's doing. They got an owner that has no idea what he's doing. I am sick and tired of it. I really am. I really am. And they're going to get killed by Cincinnati this week. You know they are. They're going to be 0-8 going into the bye when Joe Flacco chops up that secondary this week, especially if Gardner's not playing. Not that he really matters that much anyway. And Tyrod Taylor's got to be the starter. I mean, he's got to be. And hopefully Garrett Wilson can play because they got nobody. This team has nobody. They have no players. The coaching staff is a disaster. The owner is a disaster. And they have no players. But they had the absolute balls to dump Aaron Rodgers and dump Davante Adams. By the way, Davante Adams caught 3 touchdown passes for the Rams yesterday as they buried the Jaguars in London. I am freaking sick and tired of it. Get me John Gruden. Get me a real goddamn head coach in here. Get me a guy like Mike McCarthy. I'll take him. Get me somebody that knows what they're doing and is going to be the guy that we want developing the young quarterback that we will inevitably draft this year in the first round and maybe with the first pick in the draft. Unbelievable. All right, let's get our sponsors in here. The Oda Pain Podcast, what pain there is. I have no idea when our next time. A couple people at the game asked me yesterday, Have no idea when our next live podcast will be at the Hackensack Brewing Company. No idea. I don't know if they want us to do one, so I don't know. But we will let you know if and when that happens. Now, I was with my son Johnny yesterday and my wife at the game. And again, we thank Sean Winters. I just can't say enough. What a great experience it is. Anybody out there, I know he's asked Ira to go to a game. I know you don't listen to the podcast, but you should take him up on going over there. I'm going to a game with him. Believe me. Anyway.
Unbelievable.
The seats are unbelievable. The whole experience, the coaches club, all of it. Yeah. By the way, it was funny after the game, right? So I'm in the coaches club. My wife is hitting the bathroom before we leave, but you got to go through the coaches club to get out anyway, right? And I didn't realize that Buttle and what's his name, Dan Grassa, they do their postgame show from there. And there they are. And I see them. And I got to tell you, man, I was so tempted to go up there and introduce myself to these two guys and just to see their reaction when I tell them who I am, okay? But I didn't because I don't want to cause a scene. I don't want to make, I don't want any problems. But I just thought that was interesting yesterday. But the whole experience there is just great with Sean, and we thank him again. But anyway, my son Johnny was there. You need work done on your car. You need tires. You need your car inspected. You need a discount tire in beautiful Rivervale, New Jersey, one of my favorite towns with the great Rivervale Golf Course. We'll be doing early voting there as well, either this week or next week with the governor's race in New Jersey. We just got a power hit, but we came right back. How about that? I guess we're still on, right? Are we?
I don't know.
Because I see myself here.
I don't know. Because the TV went out.
Yeah. Why do we get these power hits here? Yeah, it's not showing the time now.
Trying to reconnect. No, it's not, hon. It's not.
Okay. Yeah, put the TV on.
It's not. It's not on.
No, I know it's not on. You can't. It's not saying turn on yet.
Where's the change?
Over there. All right, we're back, everybody. We had a power hit here in beautiful Mahwah, New Jersey, which we get a lot of these, where the power goes out for a second, then comes back, but it knocks everything out. Yep. So this is we are back now, and we will continue on with the rest of the podcast. I was in the middle of talking about Anita Discount Tire in beautiful Westwood, New Jersey, and beautiful in Rivervale, New Jersey, beautiful Westwood Avenue in beautiful Rivervale, one of my favorite towns. Check out my son Johnny. Check out his boss Harry. You need work done on your car, tires, whatever you need, car inspected. Anita Discount Tire is the place to go. Now, if you're looking for a great vacation spot, you know where you got to go. You got to go to Carolina Resort Vacations. Plan your next getaway in beautiful North Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. It's got 5 spacious bedrooms, each with a private en-suite bathroom. Hello, convenience. It's got a fully stocked kitchen ready for family meals or group cooking nights. Arcade-style gaming table with 150-plus classic games, smart TVs in every room, entertainment for everyone. Steps from the beach, minutes from Barefoot Landing, mini golf, Ripley's Aquarium, the Myrtle Beach Boardwalk, and, of course, all the great golf courses that are down there. The unit is freshly renovated, spotless, spacious, perfect for family trips, group getaways, or a relaxing retreat by the ocean. Whether you're soaking up the sun, which I love to do, exploring local attractions, or just enjoying time together, OBLV Unit 2 Carolina Resort Vacation makes every trip unforgettable. North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Comfort, style, location, all in one. 843-249-6509. Visit Carolina Resort Realty.com to learn more. Start planning your trip today. 843-249-6509. And, of course, our great friends at Manscaped, they got the handyman and the chairman evergreen. It's time to talk about stepping up your grooming game. We all know about Down Below, the great lawn mower that gives you the illusion of extra inches and all that. Been doing that for a long time. Everybody loves it. Everybody meaning me and my wife. The face shaving products from Manscaped are the ultimate. I don't even see how she can look at me naked, but are the ultimate grooming tools designed. I can't even do it. To deliver precision and comfort in sleek and easy-to-use devices. Whether you're looking for a trim, a shape, or a detailed touch-up, Manscaped face shaving products are built to handle shaving your face with ease, crafted for efficiency and the perfect addition to your grooming arsenal. Use my code PAIN, P-A-I-N. That's not J-E-T-S. That's P-A-I-N for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. The Handyman is sleek, powerful contact face shaver that helps you ditch the mess. Cordless, designed for convenience. It easily fits in a bathroom drawer, slips into an overnight or gym bag for easy grooming on the go. You got the Handyman for the upper part of your body, for that face. You got the lawnmower for the lower extremities. You got all your grooming needs covered by Manscaped. You got their underwear, which is great. I always wear the Handyman. Should be a Handyman. I always wear the Manscaped underwear for golf, and of course the shampoo and conditioner, which does a great job. You can use it as a body, a body wash as well. Check it out. Love Manscaped. We love them. Again, join over the over 12 million men who trust Manscaped. Upgrade to the Handyman Rocket Man. Use the code PAIN for 15% off your entire order at manscaped.com. 15% off plus free shipping with the code PAIN at manscaped.com. Don't miss out. Upgrade your grooming game with Manscaped today. You will love every bit of it, up and down, and she will too. Okay. Let's get, as I said, now we're in the second half. Let's get to the Giant game yesterday. Oh, my God. I mean, this was one of the craziest games I've ever seen. The Giants are in total control. You're a Giant fan sitting there yesterday. You're up 19-0 against a Denver Bronco team where Jackson Dart's looking great. Scatterboo, Wan'Dale Robinson. The defense is playing lights out against Bo Nix and company. You're a Giant fan sitting there. Oh, my God. We're on our way to beating the Broncos. We're going to be 3-4. We're going to be a factor in the division this year. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. The Giants actually get ahead 26-8 on that pass to Johnson that was tipped. It comes out of the hands of Wan'Dale Robinson, goes right into to Johnson, the tight end's hands. He takes it to the house for a touchdown. Giants are up 26-8. Now, one of the problems in this game is their kicker, McEnemy, whatever the hell his name is, probably gone today, missed 2 extra points in this game. Missed an extra point early when it was 13-0. He missed the extra point on that second touchdown when Scatterboo ran it in from 13 yards out, and they kept chasing that extra point all day. Anyway, they're up 26-8 going into the fourth quarter, and the Denver Broncos, 26-8 early in the fourth quarter, 19-0 going into the fourth quarter. The Broncos scored 33 points in the fourth quarter to win this football game. Unbelievable. Now, Dart threw a big pick in this game in the second half, but he played really well. To me, really, it's crazy to think this, but here's the point. So Denver takes the lead. They're up 30-26. Giants get right down the field. Dart leads them right back down the field again. There's a big pass interference on the goal line on about the 3-yard line against Wan'Dale Robinson. Giants got a 1st and goal on the 3, down 30-26. With 40 seconds left in the game. And this was huge in this game. Dart, and I'm saying, as I'm watching this, I'm saying if I'm Denver, let the Giants score the touchdown here. Let them score. Denver had no timeouts, but let them score right away. Then there's maybe 37 seconds left. You got a chance to win the game or at least tie the game if they make the extra point because all you need is a field goal. Let them score. Anyway, they don't try to let him score. Dart gets it in for a touchdown. Now, initially, I believe they called him short of the goal line. When you looked at the replay he was in, the Giants would have been better off if Dart didn't score there and got stopped on a 1-yard line. They would have been better off. They would have still been behind, but they would have still had the ball with a chance to score and probably would have scored the touchdown. But a lot more time would have went off the clock, and the Giants probably would have won the game. Denver probably would not have had enough time to get in field goal position to win the game or tie the game. But anyway, the Giants score. They take the lead 32-30. They rule it a touchdown, rightfully so, with Dart. They're up 32-30, and then the kicker misses the extra point again, leaving the door open with 37 seconds left, even though Denver had no timeouts, to still get in field goal range and win the game now. It wouldn't be a tie. They would win it. Nix hits a pass, I forget, to Mims, I think it was, where there was basically 3 Giants and 2 different Bronco receivers in the area, and somehow Nix fits it into Mims. He wasn't wide open on this. The Giant defensive back was all over him, and there were 3 Giants in the area. Somehow Mims makes the catch. Nix runs up to the line, spikes the ball. Then he hits, I think it was Cortland Sutton down the sideline, going out of bounds. Now he's clearly in field goal range. And of course, Lutz hits the game-winning field goal. Denver wins at 33-32. What a brutal loss for the Giants. They allow the Broncos, they blow a 19-0 lead going into the fourth quarter. They blow a 26-8 lead in the fourth quarter. They allow the Broncos to score 33 points in the fourth quarter and win this football game. You got to be kidding me. That is a brutal loss for the Giants. Now, you still take away that the Giants certainly look like they have a quarterback in Jackson Dart, no doubt. He had another good game yesterday. They did a pretty good job on Scatterboo, but he did get that touchdown. The defense was playing lights out. You're going nuts. They're flying all over the field. What happened in the fourth quarter to the defense? Because the defense fell apart in the fourth quarter. But isn't it crazy? If Dart didn't score there and got stopped short of the goal line, and the Giants would have still had the ball, I think that was first down, still had the ball on second down, right, and ran a little more clock, they would have won the game. Denver wouldn't have had enough time to come back and get that field goal. What a crazy game that was. That was unbelievable. I really, that is one of the wildest football games that I ever saw. And the Giants were right there to be 3-4 and be right in the division. Philadelphia did win yesterday. They bounced back to beat the Vikings 28-22 after the 2 losses in a row to Denver and the Giants, for that matter, right? Dallas blew out Washington yesterday to get themselves back in the mix. Washington, what is now? I believe they're 3-4. And what is the Cowboys? Because they had that loss in there. What are they? 3-2-1 now, Dallas? I think that's what they are. Whatever it is. But it's a very jumbled up NFC East. And the Giants would have been right there at 3-4 playing the Eagles next week in Philadelphia. Instead, they're back to 2-5. It's a big win for Denver, who stays in first place in the AFC West now at 5-2 after the Chargers got whacked again by Daniel Jones and the Indianapolis Colts. How about Daniel Jones? I mean, are you serious? Everybody talks about Baker Mayfield being the MVP right now, and certainly he deserves that, the way he's played for Tampa, who's sitting there at 5-1. How about the Colts? The Colts are 6-1 with Daniel Jones. They blew the Chargers out yesterday in L.A. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Unbelievable. I mean, it really is unbelievable. And I wanted the Jets to sign Daniel Jones after the year. I really did. Because I always felt he had something if you had a decent offensive line that could actually protect the guy. And boy, have things changed for him. Wow. Unbelievable. The Colts with Daniel Jones at quarterback are 6-1. Wow. Unbelievable. But the state of football in New York, the only thing I'll say, though, if you're a Giant fan, and maybe you don't love Brian Dable, okay, but he did draft Dart. You got to give him that. You look like you got a quarterback with Dart. I still think you got a real solid, so a lot of nice young players on that defense in spite of what happened yesterday. You love Scatterboo. The offensive line is getting better. So you have that going for you if you're a Giant fan. But that was a terrible, I mean, I can't believe they lost this game. They were in total control through 3 quarters. They were up by 18 in the fourth quarter after that crazy play to the tight end off the hands of Robinson. I mean, wow. Unbelievable that they lost this game. Oh, boy. But at least you got, like I said, at least the Giants got hope because they got a what looks to be a real good, solid, young quarterback. And my football team does not have that. And again, I'll go back to what I said before. Do I want Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji making the call on who they're going to draft in this coming draft, what quarterback they're going to take? Man, oh man, I don't. Get John Gruden in here. Get Mike McCarthy in here. Get a real professional head coach in here. Like I said, I'm not saying you're firing Glenn now with 10 games to go. Let him finish the year out. But he is showing no signs that he is capable of being a big-time head coach, any kind of a head coach in the NFL. He looks completely clueless, completely lost. Granted, they have no players. We went through that already. Tyrod Taylor has to play going forward. I'm sorry. He's got to be the quarterback next week in Cincinnati. But what a disaster. So another disastrous, just a brutal football game at MetLife for the Jets as they lose 13-6 to Carolina. And just a horrendous loss by the Giants in Denver as they blow a 19-0 and 26-8 lead, give up 33 points in the fourth quarter, and lose 33-32 to the Broncos. Absolutely crazy. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the week. The weather's supposed to be nice again this week. Amazingly, it's amazing how good the weather has been. It was a gorgeous day at MetLife yesterday, and then the game started, you know? It's always a great day and going to the game until the game starts. Unbelievable. All right, guys. Check me out later on. I'll be on with Jake Asman at 10 o'clock on his show. Saw Jake yesterday in the parking lot. I'll be on at 4 o'clock with Evan and Tiki. You want to check that out. All the love. God bless America. We'll talk to you for the next Oda Payne podcast on Friday.